Hey second grade, welcome back to another reading lesson. Now we're still talking about poems, specifically nature poems, because we're trying to answer the question, what excites us about nature? So today's poem is called Nature Walk. The nice thing about this poem is it's pretty relatable because I'm pretty sure most of us have gone on walks while we've been home. So it's kind of nice that it connects back to our own lives. Now there's two things we're going to be looking for when we read this poem. The first thing is author's craft. So something the author does is he repeats a line over and over and over in his poem. And that is something a poet will do when he wants to highlight something really important in his poem and to show some interesting aspects of his poem. It makes it more interesting to read. The second thing we're going to be looking for goes back to our essential question. So we're going to be looking for the sentence that tells us that the author is excited about his nature walk, okay? So those are the two things we're looking for. We're going to read it twice just so that you can focus on one thing at a time. Here is our poem. So you'll see two poems. Today we're only going to be reading Nature Walk. Listen along while I read to try and pinpoint that line that is repeated more than once. When you take a walk in the fall, leaves are like a blanket on the ground. They crunch under your feet with each step you take. When you take a walk in the fall, the air feels as cool as drops of rain on your cheek. It smells like clean cotton towels. When you take a walk in the fall, the outdoors will excite you. It's a wonderful time. All right, second grade, did you find that line? If you haven't yet found it, I'm going to give you a clue. It's at the beginning of each stanza. So remember, a stanza is a group of lines. So here's our first stanza, here's our second stanza, and here's our last stanza. So the first line is our repeated line. You got it. When you take a walk in the fall is repeated 3 times. 1, again in the beginning of this stanza, 2, and finally in our last stanza, 3. So over and over and over we read, when you take a walk in the fall, when you take a walk in the fall, when you take a walk in the fall. All right, second grade, awesome job. Now, on our assignment, you will see that you've already answered the first question. The directions say answer the two questions below. The author's craft that we're looking at is repeated line. So the question says, what is the repeated line in Nature Walk? Which you will see that we highlighted just now 3 times. Our last question relates back to our essential question. What sentence tells us the author is excited by nature? Now there's 2 parts in this poem that tells you that he's excited. He uses the word once, and he also has a sentence that tells you by a specific word he uses and an exclamation point. So like we talked about yesterday with the other poem, that an exclamation point is really important when we're looking for something excited because it means that the author wants you to read it in an excited way, aka he is excited. So let's see. See if you can find the word excited anywhere in this poem. Hint, hint, hint. It's in the last stanza. You got it right here at the end of that first sentence. It says, the outdoors will excite you. So if he's telling us that it'll excite us, that means the author is excited. And I keep on saying he, but the author's actually name is Sarah, so it's a girl. The other clue that tells us that this nature walk excites her is this last sentence. This last sentence ends in an exclamation point, so you would read it like this. It's a wonderful time, right? All right, second grade. So when you are filling in your last box, you can use either one of these ideas to answer the final question. All right, second grade, you are ready to go on your way. I hope you have a good rest of your day. If you have any questions, leave a Google comment or join our Zoom session.